Hi everyone, I am Meredith Abbott and welcome to Swirl. Today I am making a chocolate banana marble bread. For this recipe you need eggs, ripe bananas, cocoa powder, buttermilk, granulated sugar, cake flour, baking soda and baking powder, unsalted butter, and vanilla. Step 1, I've mashed my bananas and now I'm going to finish mixing my wet ingredients. I add my buttermilk and my vanilla extract. Stir to combine. And set aside. For the next step, I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to sift my dry ingredients together. This just ensures even blending of the ingredients. So, cake flour, baking powder, baking soda, and then whisk together into a larger bowl. Set this aside. Next step is to make a cocoa paste. I have my cocoa powder in a small bowl. I have boiling water. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of water into the cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is notoriously hard to mix into wet ingredients. By adding the water to the cocoa powder to make a paste, it's going to make it easier to blend into half of the batter later. So I'm going to whisk this together. Okay, the paste, want it to look kind of like thick pudding. You might need a little bit more than 3 tablespoons. But you want to whisk until all of the lumps are out and it's nice and smooth. There you go. The next step is to cream together the butter and the sugar. So to my stand mixer, I'm going to add my softened room temperature butter. This also works in a hand mixer. I'm going to add in all my granulated sugar. Lock that into place. I'm going to start it on low. As the butter and the sugar start to mix together, I'm going to increase the speed and I'm going to start whipping it or creaming these 2 ingredients together. This is going to take a few minutes. You'll know when it's ready because it'll be light in color, it'll be nice and fluffy in texture, and you won't feel a lot of those sugar granules. Usually this takes between 3 and 5 minutes. I'm going to stop to scrape down the sides of my bowl and just check on the progress. Scraping down the beater too. This is not quite ready. I can still feel and hear a lot of those sugar granules. So I'm gonna let this beat for about another minute or so, but it's getting close. The color is getting there and the texture is getting there. So lock it in place, beat it for about another minute. Okay, this is ready, I think. I'm gonna scrape down my beater again, scrape down the sides. And this is nice and light and fluffy. Almost looks like frosting. That's when you know you're ready to add your eggs. With the mixer on low speed, so my butter and sugar mixture is ready. I'm going to add my eggs 1 egg at a time, or doing my best to add 1 egg at a time. Beat this first egg until it's fully incorporated. You can increase your speed a little bit. I'm just looking for the mixture to have no visible streaks of egg through it. Great. Lower my speed back to low, add in the second egg. Beat this again until it's fully incorporated. I don't see any streaks of egg. That is fully incorporated. Before I move on, I'm going to scrape the sides of my bowl just to make sure that everything is thoroughly mixed. For stand mixers of this style, there's a dimple at the bottom. Make sure you scrape around that. So now I need to grab my banana mixture and my sifted dry ingredients. Next up is to alternate additions of the flour mixture and the banana mixture, starting with the flour. Eyeball about 1/3 of the mixture with your mixer on low speed. I like to just use my fingertips to coax some of it in. It's about 1/3, give or take. Wipe it off the side. Mix it until it's combined with a few streaks of flour. Then add in half of my banana mixture. Just mixing until it's mostly combined, some streaks. Now I'm going to add half of my remaining dry mixture. Mix until it's combined with a few streaks of flour, which that goes pretty quickly. And I'm going to add the rest of my banana mixture. Mix that until it's incorporated. And now for the last addition of my flour, I'm going to add it in and then fold or stir it in by hand. This is going to prevent over mixing, and it's going to keep the banana bread super tender. This is a messy but fun part. So take that off. Scrape all of that banana bread mixture off. And then I'm going to stir this in. Okay, now I'm ready to add the last part of the flour mixture. And I'm going to use my silicone spatula to finish stirring this in. I'm going to make sure I'm scraping the sides completely. Not quite gently folding this in, but I'm just stirring it by hand, again, to prevent over mixing, which can yield a kind of tougher banana bread. So this is now all incorporated. I'm going to eyeball half of the mixture and pour it into a mixing bowl. Also making sure that I have completely stirred in all of that flour. That looks about good. Now I'm going to add that cocoa paste into this half of the batter. Stir it in. Great. And now I'm ready to fill my loaf pan. Now the fun part of marbling the two batters. I am using clickable portion scoops today. You can use big, large tablespoons, whatever you have. I love these because it keeps my fingers cleaner. I'm going to start by just laying down a couple scoops of the plain batter, kind of apart from each other a little bit. And then I'm going to, in those empty spaces, add the chocolate batter. If you had larger scoops, you could just kind of scoop in alternating colors, just looking to get kind of an even mix of the two batters, the plain and the chocolate. It's not gonna be perfect. This one's gonna be a little heavier in chocolate, but that's okay. So just kind of work your way through, alternating those colors as you build upon them too. Come in and get a few last scoops of that one. chocolate. I'm gonna pop one right there. One right there. One last step before this goes into the oven. Take a butter knife, stick it into your batter by about 1 inch, and then swirl. Back and forth, and then you can kind of go up one side and down another. Don't swirl too much because then it'll start to blend. We want to see those changes in the batter. This is now ready to go into the preheated oven, 350 degrees, until a toothpick or cake tester inserted into the middle comes out clean. My bread was in the oven. It took about 55 to 60 minutes. Then I cooled it on a wire rack until room temperature. Now it's ready to slice. Take a serrated knife. And the thickness of the slices are all up to you. I usually make my end one a little thinner, and then the inside pieces I usually make about 1 inch thick. And look how beautiful that marbling is. So fun, alternate those colors, take your knife and swirl it. This is beautiful, it's nice and tender. I like to serve mine with some salted butter or a little bit of cream cheese, and it's breakfast, treat, or dessert. Enjoy. For recipe videos, cooking classes, and more, visit swirled.com.